Hello there, Sylvia. My name is Ellen. I'll be correcting these essays for you. So I'm really happy to see that you've begun the course. You've started writing essays. Great. Let's take a look at what you did in this first set. Schools should be more entertaining. Let's see what you wrote. The learning methods schools use have been a topic of debate for several years. I believe that educating others, applying more enjoyable methods can be the key for brighter students. This essay will discuss both points of view and use various examples to support arguments. Okay, this is really good. There are a couple of things I want to change. First of all, the key to brighter students is usually key to something, is what we say. Now, I have one concern here. It's this statement here, okay? You told us what your position is, and then you use this. It's an expression I know a lot of students like to use, and it's good, but there's a problem with it. It's asking you, which do you agree with? Okay. So they're asking you to pick a side. And then here you're telling us you're going to discuss both sides. You don't really have to. And it makes me wonder why you're going to when you've said that you think that enjoyable methods are better. Do you know what I'm saying? In other words, you have been asked which side you agree with. You've told us you agree with both, you agree just with one side, but then you tell us you're going to discuss both sides. And that doesn't really make sense because you don't have to, at least not in this kind of an essay. It says, which do you agree with? Now, that said, you can talk about both sides. It's fine. But if you're going to do that, you just need to indicate it in your introduction. So, in other words, rather than saying this sentence here, you could have said, I believe that although academics are a key point in education and should not be ignored, educating others using more enjoyable methods can be the key to brighter students. So, do you see what I did? I showed that it is your opinion that there is validity and value to both. And if you do that, then it makes sense for you to discuss both points of view. Okay, I hope that made sense. The point is make sure that you answer the question, okay, and then make sure that the development of the essay both responds to this and it all ties in with your introduction. So let's see what you wrote. Firstly, the need to create a more entertaining environment for students is nothing new. It has been studied and proven by multiple universities, such as the University of Oxford. Capitalize that U here as part of the title. That introducing more enjoyable teaching methods allows, here you want an S because the noun is introducing, the students not only to remember the information better, but also be actively more interested in the subjects that are being studied. Therefore, the advantages of allowing more amusing methods of learning are clear. Okay, you don't want this expression here. We don't say on the other side, we say on the other hand. And also, if you're going to say on the other hand, then you need to include on the one hand. Those two expressions go together. You can't just use one. So if you want to show contrast, there are a couple of ways that are my personal favorite. I really like just in contrast or however. Perfect, fine, simple. So, however, it is also true that teachers are not there to entertain, but to supply their students with knowledge and support them on their learning. In their learning, I think. You support somebody. Yeah, sounds better to me. Many people believe that scholars should learn to differentiate their study times from their leisure ones, and that studying should be taken seriously. An incredible example might be the scientist and professor Stephen Hawking, who never needed to purposely make his lessons entertaining. He spoke supported by empirical evidence and an outstanding passion for his field of study. Okay. Here I would have liked the therefore. Therefore, what's the takeaway from this? How do you kind of wrap this all up? Okay. You did it here, but I think it would have been nice to have that here. To conclude from the examples and arguments given, I believe that even if a more amusing teaching method is not always required, it can certainly make a difference in here the learning process, especially if those learning are not that interested in the subject being displayed. In the future, it is predicted that teachers will adapt and start implementing more enjoyable methods of teaching so that they can share knowledge in a greater way. Okay. I like a lot of this. I thought it was very good. I can't help feeling that you use this expression quite a bit, enjoyable teaching methods. I don't want to like look through the entire essay, but I felt like I saw it. I know I saw it here. Look, enjoyable teaching methods. And then I might have seen it another time. It's just when you repeat certain expressions, they kind of stand out. Here you have this amusing teaching method. So it's similar. So you wanted to use some different synonyms here. Okay, so uh, here you talk to us about how we need to have entertainment in class. Here you said to us, yeah, but you need to learn when to be serious and just study academics. And then here, let me see. You're basically saying that, you know what, on the whole, the amusing method is better, etc., etc. So, since that's the case, this is the paragraph that's actually stronger. This is the one this is the one you actually support. I would have reversed these. It's a good rule of thumb in general to keep the stronger paragraph closer to the conclusion. And you want to keep your opinion closer to the conclusion. It stays in the mind of the reader. It makes it seem stronger. It gives it weight. So I would reverse these two. And then again, I would really like to see this rewritten. Not this sentence so much, not that this essay will discuss both points of view, but it's really the previous one that you need to introduce the fact that you also see value in just academic only information. Okay. So that's what I would do. But a lot of this was really very good, really natural language, lovely to read. So yes, nice job. Let's take a look here about the enjoyable activity with a child. Let's see what you said here. Which activities are better for the development of children is certainly a question every parent has had at a certain point in their life. Okay, seeing some errors with prepositions, so you want to be careful about those. I strongly believe that. No, you don't need a comma here. So it should just read, I strongly believe that since every human is different, their interests and what works in an optimum way for them may differ depending on the infant. This essay will discuss this using examples from different studies performed by UNICEF to support said arguments. I really want to read this again. Let's see. You see, part of the problem is that you're supposed to be talking about reading here. Well, not just reading. You're supposed to be talking about enjoyable activities and how that activity or activities can help develop skills and creativity. And then it's a really good idea, especially when you're aiming for a higher level essay, to make references to reading, comparisons to reading. So, how the activity you're suggesting is so much better than reading for the said skill. Okay. You didn't mention reading here at all. And you really should, if you want to really have a faithful kind of rewording of the topic, then you should have mentioned something about reading. There's also really nothing about creativity here at all or skills. So this feels like it could have been an introduction to any number of subjects, but it doesn't really feel particularly suited to this one. So I would like to see it rewritten so that it's a little more focused and targeted on the essay that you have been asked to write. Okay, so let's see. Their interest in what works in an optimum way for them may differ depending on the infant. Okay. All right, so let's go on and see how you actually develop this. Firstly, there are many more alternatives to reading that can help a child's development. Reading has been used as the best method in the past, but this has changed and opened the way to many other forms of entertainment, such as drawing, playing games, interacting with friends, and numerous sports. A recent study by UNICEF shows that children grow happier and more creative when they perform their favorite activities in their free time instead of being forced to do exactly what their parents want. Therefore, reading might not be the best option in every situation. Okay. Still, this does not mean reading is an inadequate option. It has been and will continue to be one of the favorite activities for children of all ages since it supplies a variety of genders that can fit everyone's taste. Do you mean genres? Maybe you mean genre, like literature genre. I don't think you mean genders here. This has also been studied by UNICEF, proving that while other alternatives exist, reading will always be one of them. Consequently, it can also be an incredible possibility. All right. Um, Let me read your conclusion, then we'll come back to this paragraph because there's a lot I want to say about it. To conclude from the examples and arguments given, I believe that the activities performed by children must be those said infant prefers. Okay, I understand what you mean. I believe the activities performed by children must be those the said infant prefers. Careful here, we're not talking just about infants. Infants is a very specific age group. So this is just children in general. So just keep it with children. A healthy mix of reading different genres and other activities would be perfect for the healthy development of said infants. In the future, parents will have to adapt to this and allow their kids a happier, more creative childhood. All right, avoid the word kids, it's too informal. Okay, so I liked a lot of this. I liked a lot of the grammar. I see that you're having an issue with some prepositions, so that's something I want you to work on. There are lots of lists everywhere in good grammar books and even online about prepositions and what goes with what. So just be careful about that. Now, the thing I really want to talk to you about was this paragraph for a couple of reasons. The first reason is that it felt rather underdeveloped. Take a look at the legs. It's 5 lines long. So is your conclusion, and so is your introduction. So that's a big red flag that you probably haven't developed it enough. You've either overdeveloped your introduction and conclusion, or you haven't developed your body paragraph enough. In this case, the latter is true. So this was really very short, and I felt like it didn't really kind of cover the topic to a great extent. I didn't think that this was particularly informative, and then I didn't really like this incredible possibility. It also felt like really imprecise grammar, imprecise vocabulary. So, what could you have done with this paragraph? Let's take a look at it again and think about some ways you could have developed it a little differently to make it stronger, more convincing. Still, this does not mean reading is an inadequate option. It has been and will continue to be one of the favorite activities of children of all ages, since it supplies a variety of genres that can fit everyone's taste. Okay. So we can leave it at that. And then you can say also, additionally, it is reading is a wonderful learning tool for children as it helps children develop a wide range of skills. One such skill is literacy. Children can learn to read better and develop reading comprehension. Additionally, they learn vocabulary. They widen their lexical resources through reading, which cannot be achieved by any other activity. And lastly, reading can also help develop creativity skills. Children, when they read books, can imagine make believe scenarios and locations, which helps develop their imagination. So those, I'm not saying you had to include all of those ideas, but you could have included some of them, and this would have been a stronger way of developing this paragraph. Okay. Let's see. So here you mentioned creativity, but entertainment and playing games. There's not really a lot about skills. Like, what skills are kids developing in this paragraph? I mean, yeah, you mentioned just creativity, but I thought you should have done a little more with that. Like, just the way I showed you with the reading, you should have done the same thing with this paragraph as well. So if you're saying that um, drawing is a wonderful way for children to develop skills. For example, drawing can develop fine motor skills in children as well as unleash their creativity. okay, by allowing them to imagine and draw and paint imaginary pictures. Okay, so that's the kind of thing you need here, tangible sorts of ideas and development of your paragraphs. Okay, all right, so that's a lot of information for this set. Let's talk about what you need to do next. The first thing you need to do is correct these essays based on the suggestions in this video. The next thing you need to do is you need to begin an error correction list where you write down your mistakes and the right word next to, or the right version next to that mistake. Add to that every time you get an essay back from us, okay? And then, of course, the third thing you need to do is write us a new set of essays, kind of applying everything you've been learning along the course and through these video corrections, okay? So send me back the corrected essays and the new essays, and then we'll continue. So I want to wish you lots of luck.